Assalamu alaikum everyone, my name's Farah Halabi and welcome to day 10 of my Ramadan Reflections. Today I'd like to speak about forgiveness. The first 10 days of Ramadan are reserved for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy, the mercy that we seek from Him, but also the mercy that we are able to give others, but also give ourselves. The next 10 days are for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's forgiveness. The forgiveness that we seek from Him, but also the forgiveness that we are able to give to others, and I would say more importantly, give to ourselves. What does it look like to forgive yourself? What does that even mean? What is it that you get stuck with when you think about forgiving yourself or being forgiving to yourself? What does it feel like to forgive others? What does that look like? How do you know if you've forgiven someone? Do you have to forgive them? Do you feel that you should forgive them? Is it forgive and forget? What does forgiveness actually mean? For a lot of the amazing women that I work with, the premise or the act of forgiveness is really, really difficult, especially for people that they feel have hurt them, have caused them pain, who have upset them. To forgive the other person is almost like condoning it, condoning their actions, accepting their actions, saying it's all right that you hurt me, I forgive you. And from that lens, forgiveness is really, really difficult, because it almost gives that other person permission to have hurt them, and that they're forgiving them, and they're saying it's all right. That is not the case. That is not forgiveness. And with the women that I work with, when we look at how they behave, how they show up in their world from a place of holding on to the hurt and carrying that pain and that upset of the actions of others, of the things that people do to them, that they carry with them every single day when they're going around in their world, in their homes, in their families, in their business, in their community. They carry that hurt, they carry that pain, they carry that thought of what someone or people have done to them. And then some bright spark comes up and goes, just forgive. Just forgive them. It's a good thing to forgive. It's good for you to forgive. But what they hear is, let it go. It's not important. You don't matter. Just accept it. Just forgive and forget. Just don't worry about it. Just forgive them. And that means something about them. It means to them, am I not worthy? Am I not enough? Am I not valid? Am I not worth someone accepting that they have hurt me? Why is it on me to forgive them, to let them off the hook? And from that point of view, forgiveness seems like a pretty tall order, but that's not forgiveness. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the act of forgiveness, the act of, or the blessings of forgiving, it's nothing to do with the person that you're forgiving. It's nothing to do with the person who has caused you or who has hurt you, who has upset you. It's not for them. It's for you. It doesn't let them off the hook. It means that you can let go of that pain that you're carrying, because they've hurt you, they've done whatever it is that they've done, and they're going on their merry little way. You're the one that carries that hurt, that upset, every time you think about what they've done. And then almost like a slap in the face, it's like, well, I've got to forgive them. It's a bit of a tall order from that place. But if the forgiveness is for you to safely let go that hurt that you carry, that's affecting your life, that's affecting the way in which you show up, that forgiveness is for you. Forgiving them doesn't let them off the hook. it lessens and puts down the burden of carrying all of that hurt and upset that affects you, not them. It's a bit like, I read this and I thought this is a great analogy. It's a bit like you're drinking the poison but expecting them to die. You're carrying around all of the pain, all of that suffering, and it's permeating and it's affecting how you show up. And they're cracking on with their day. They're living their lives. They're doing whatever it is they're doing, but you're carrying it. And every time someone says, just forgive, it's good for you, you can't get past that poison because it's within you. But to forgive, not for their sake, but for you, to let go of that poison, to give that a safe passage out, to let that go, and then forgive yourself. Be merciful and kind and forgiving to you. If the thought of forgiving someone else involves, or to you means letting them off the hook or condoning or accepting their behaviour, it's going to be a really tough thing to do, if at all. But if you can forgive the fact that they caused that hurt, and you're forgiving not them, but you're letting go of that hurt, putting it down and saying, I no longer choose to carry this. I let that go. I forgive that hurt. I'm giving it safe passage out. And make dua for that person. Make dua, because making dua for them doesn't demean you. It doesn't mean that you're accepting what they've done, but the making dua for them, there is, and I'm going to read this just so that I make sure that I'm not making a mistake, but seeking forgiveness for others, it is sunnah, it is. And the Prophet ﷺ says that when you make dua for others, an angel requests that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answers the same dua for you. So again, that forgiving of others is not for them, it's for you. But it's letting go of that pain and that hurt and that stuff that you carry in a way that doesn't demean you, and that actually by making dua for them, that elevates you, because you making dua for them, angels are going to request that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answers the same for you. So if you make dua for healing for them, for forgiveness for them, for good for them, angels request that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does the same for you. That way, you're the recipient of that forgiveness. You are the recipient. You are the benefactor. You are the one that is gifting that forgiveness to you. And it has nothing to do with that person that's hurt you. It's not even about them. It's about you. What's the other side of you not forgiving? When you carry all of that pain, all of that hurt, who's it affecting the most? You or them? I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's you. If you would like to let that through, to let that go, to pop it down, to safely unburden yourself from it, and seek that forgiveness for yourself, for them, seeking forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, doing what you can do, because we can't control people. We can't control what they do, what they say, what they think, how they act. We only have the element of control and impact on what we do, what we think, how we show up, how we go about our way in this world. Forgiving yourself, or showing yourself forgiveness, accepting and allowing for yourself that you are not just worthy of that forgiveness, but that your worth isn't demeaned or depleted in forgiving others, because in the asking of forgiveness for others, asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness for them, the angels ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive you the same. Does that seem demeaning to you? Does that lessen your worth? Does that demean or deplete or lower you in any way? And if you've never thought about it like that, and if you're carrying the burden of hurt and upset for how others have treated you, but you're carrying that and you don't want to anymore, and you want a safe way through this act of forgiveness that before may have seemed like an act of almost compliance or complacence or acceptance or just condoning what someone has done, and you would like to safely let that pass. You would like to find out what it looks like to really be able to forgive yourself and to let go of that hurt, especially during this month, especially during Ramadan, where the good deeds that you do are multiplied. And what better deeds than to take care of yourself so that you can optimize all of you to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala better this month, without that pain, without that burden, without that stuff that you carry on a daily basis. What better time to let that go and optimize what you've got going on, all of you, to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the best way this month. If you'd like to know how to do that, then private message me or send me an email at connect@farahalabi.com. SubhanAllah, today has been a day of blessings, a day of conversations, a day of awareness, a day of marvelling actually in the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the way in which forgiveness for ourselves is one of the greatest forms of self-care. That tarbiyah, that nurturing for us, for ourselves. Sometimes we may be very forgiving of others, but we don't afford the same level of forgiveness for ourselves. And sometimes we find it really, really hard to forgive others. And we find it even harder to even contemplate that we are worthy of forgiveness at all. SubhanAllah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us that ability to forgive. He is the most merciful, the most, He is the one who forgives, but He has given us an element of that ability to be able to forgive, not just others, but forgive ourselves. And we should be and are the greatest benefactors, the greatest recipients of that act. Let's not waste it this month. Let's not waste it, especially in these next 10 days that are reserved for the forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the forgiveness that we have to ask of forgiveness for others, to beg for forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to be able to bestow that forgiving nature, or be forgiving of others, but most importantly ourselves, inshallah. I'm gonna go. It's a bit late, and as usual I've spoken for a lot longer than I meant to, but as always I pray that you are safe, well, happy and healthy, inshallah, and I shall be on tomorrow for, I was going to say another little convo, or probably a long convo, but another one anyway. But for now, take care. Assalamu alaikum.